foot-long Hebrew text of Isaiah would have taken more than 30 frames of film to photograph. If this is what Copeland saw, why should it have been identified as Daniel, not Isaiah? And why should the writing have been identified as both Hebrew and Aramaic? It is possible, of course, that the CIA official was mistaken, but when we repeated Copeland's story to a prominent Israeli researcher, he was intrigued. It might be very interesting, he said in confidence. It might be a scroll that hasn't been seen yet. If we could obtain any further information, he said, I'll exchange with you additional data concerning missing scrolls, which implies, needless to say, that such data exist and have never been made public. While Copeland's photographs were being examined in Beirut, Metropolitan Samuel was persisting in his efforts to confirm the age of the scrolls in his possession. A Jewish doctor who visited his monastery put him in touch with scholars from Hebrew University. They in turn put him in touch with the head of Hebrew University's Department of Archaeology, Professor Eliezer Sukenik. On 24 November, before Sukenik came to view the scrolls held by the Metropolitan, a secret meeting occurred between him and a figure subsequently identified only as an Armenian antique dealer. Neither had time to obtain the requisite military passes. They were therefore obliged to meet at a checkpoint between the Jewish and the Arab zones of Jerusalem, and to talk across a barrier of barbed wire. Across this barrier, the Armenian showed Sukenik a fragment of a scroll on which Hebrew writing could be discerned. The Armenian then explained that an Arab antique dealer from Bethlehem had come to him the day before, bringing this and other fragments alleged to have been found by Bedouins. Sukenik was asked if they were genuine and if Hebrew University were prepared to purchase them. Sukenik requested a second meeting, which occurred 3 days later. This time he had a pass and was able to look closely at a number of fragments. Convinced they were imported, he resolved to go to Bethlehem to see more dangerous through such an undertaking was at the time. On 29 November 1947, Sukenik slipped furtively out of Jerusalem and made the clandestine trip to Bethlehem. Here he was told in detail how the scrolls had been discovered and was shown 3 scrolls which were for sale, those which the Metropolitan had missed, and 2 of the jars that contained them. He was allowed to take the scrolls home and was studying them when, at midnight, dramatic news came over the radio. A majority of the United Nations had voted for the creation of the State of Israel. At that moment, Sukenek resolved to purchase the scrolls. They seemed to him a kind of talismanic portent, a symbolic validation of the momentous historical events that had just